Hey, welcome back to That Trucking Gospel. Today's episode's a little bit different. Me and Bubba sitting here just having a conversation about prosperity and unity, where the market is, kind of what we have moving forward. So let's jump right into it. And I'm still gripping wood, still tipping, baby, sitting sideways. Texas heat on the candy paint, in and out of county lanes. Baby, I love to swing. Find me posted on the corner with a couple cold Coronas and some outlaws out today. When we started, we weren't sober, baby, it ain't even over. They gon' have to drag us out this place. Yeah, it's different down here. You know.
What do you think of the economy right now? Yeah, we look at that board and says 5-1 on loads per trucks, but does that really even matter? Like, it still sucks.
I wish I knew. I wish I could remember what the load count was like 3 months ago. I just don't remember what that is. Like, how much, and I'm digging into it, but I'm not even ready for this conversation, but we'll still wing it and speculate and have our opinions. But when's produce season? Is it right now?
I believe seeds are being sowed in the last 2 or 3
Caleb,
weeks.
can you look that up?
So
we've done a lot of that today. Can you figure out when produce season starts?
4 weeks from now? 5 weeks?
I should know this because that produce season is a thing in trucking.
Absolutely.
Because all those reefers become off the road, and they, so when it's not produce season, they're all running dry van freight. I would search produce season in the logistics industry. Yeah. There we go. So I thought.
Yep, April to July.
So back to speculation, 2.5, 3 weeks ago, it flipped quick. You could find a truck on every corner a month ago.
Yeah.
I'd say 5, 6 weeks ago. For whatever reason, it flipped. But obviously, we know last month, too, was a record high of authorities and transportation industry, just going out of business.
Correct.
In addition to that, it is produce season, which you lose capacity. In addition to that, drivers do come off the road this time of the year to do construction. That's a yearly thing. It is. They go hand in hand. Not everybody likes to be a professional driver. So they do that whenever they can't make good money in construction. So they kind of go in and out. The construction industry slowed down because of the housing market and stuff that happened, in the interest rates and all that stuff kind of stalled the construction and building of new homes. It's picked up a little bit.
I was reading that it dropped 20%.
Again? That's freaking
I was
crazy.
reading this 2 days ago. That the housing market's down 20%.
Mm-hmm. Well, I believe it because even rents dropped. I would make this number up, but I know in our area, if it was $3,500 last year, it's $2,500 this year. It's already dropped.
You want me to tell you something that happened to me? This has to do with trucks. I bought a truck for $130,000 a year ago. Today, that truck is being sold for $95,000. I bought 2 of them. That's $70,000 gone.
But how much did it make you?
Let's not talk about that. We're just talking about the asset side.
But I'm just saying,
They ran 290 a piece.
Let me, and I didn't mean that as in figuratively. I just mean what do you consider a difference between an asset and a liability? Is owning a home an asset?
I think that an asset can be a liability, and a liability can be an asset. It all depends on the economy that it's in. So right now, trucks are liabilities, but tomorrow and the next days to come, they're going to be assets.
See, I have a way simpler difference.
Okay, you tell me.
Mine's this simple. Can it produce you ROI? Even if it ain't great. Is it producing something back to your pocket?
That makes it an asset.
Yep. So a home, a lot of people say it's an asset, that you own a home because it's tangible, right? Most people's you own something tangible, so it's an asset. But the thing is it still costs you money. Money goes out and it doesn't come back in. Now, rental property, it's an asset.
So check this out. Airbnb. they're talking about making them where they're not able to do what they're doing here in the United States, right? Mm-hmm. Some people bought homes for, let's say, $600,000. The mortgage was $5,000. That home, they were able to Airbnb it and generate $10,000 in income, so it created an ROI of $5,000 a month. Right now, that home is only being able to be rented for $3,000 a month. So you see what I mean by it can be an asset or a liability depending on the circumstance that it's in.
Yeah, but you still have to manage that asset, right? It's still a manage. You still have to manage the inflow and where you, like I understand what you're saying, but it's still producing money back, even if it's at a different rate than it's going out. So if you lived in that home, it's $5,000 a pop no matter what, every single time. Well, if you're renting it out, you're still trying to get some type of return on your investment no matter what that number is. In this case, it just wasn't a good asset to you at this point, right? Like, it feels like a liability. Like, so back to trucks. I was just using that as an example. Back to trucks. I think I understand why it feels like it's a liability right now. Rates are down.
Because it is.
Down.
Because it's negative.
Yeah, but
it's not producing an ROI.
So what? Okay, so go back to the idea of asset only being, can it produce an ROI or not? Yes or no? Okay.
Yes.
So the answer is yes.
Yep,
so it technically, as definition of my definition, because everybody views it, is yes. But the thing is, if it is a liability, that means something else is broke. It ain't the asset that's broke. It still can produce you money, but why is it not? That's where the liability is, not the truck. The truck is it can still do what you ask it to do. It's just, why is it not? That makes sense what I'm saying? Like, so let's just think truck to load ratio, right? If locally, I'm going to make up numbers. So if you want to change it just for the sake of conversation, let me know. But let's say locally that truck needs, and I'm not even going to put a dollar sign on it. That truck needs to run 2 to 3 loads a day locally to produce a profit. 2, you break even. 3, it's a profit, right? But you're only getting 1 load a day. It's not the truck's fault. It's not the asset's fault that you can't produce more loads. That's the liability. That's the part you have to go fix. It's not the truck's fault that the rates are down and that you're getting, $3 a mile instead of $4 a mile. It's not the asset's fault. It's just, how do you manage that asset is the issue. So
I see what you're saying.
Do you have to diversify and go get different business you haven't had before? Maybe you have to go over the road once or twice a week to lose it. So, for example, let's make up numbers. You have 5 trucks.
No, yeah, I see what you're saying.
If you have 5 trucks, they all run locally, but I ain't got enough work. That means 2 of them I might need to send over the road for a little bit, because you leave for 2 or 3 days and come back, right? Where you can't live in that local if there's not enough freight there.
Correct.
Does that make sense? Like, I understand what you're saying, and I'm not saying I disagree with it. I'm just saying the asset itself that can produce an ROI is not the problem.
Yeah.
Now, it can be, because motor blows and you fix it and it blows, but then it's the driver.
I think
it's the liability that's driving it, not necessarily the truck.
Yeah. So are drivers assets or liabilities?
They produce you a profit.
And some of them don't. Some of them take it all.
That's why, to me, all the focus, this is where I think me and you differ a little bit. All the focus for me is managing the assets, not managing the business, not managing where it comes from. You manage the assets. That means you have to scale when you have to scale. You got to hire better. You got to fire quicker, especially if they're not, because in trucking, it's hard, right?
Absolutely.
The turnover rate in trucking in big company, small company, it doesn't matter, is usually really, really far out of hand. But like for me as a manager, like all of my time and effort goes into putting people around you to make sure that managing the assets, the ROI, because it's fluid. You can't do the same thing over and over again in a market that flips up and down. You can't do the same thing, because at the same time, think about one of your customers. You can't even manage their business. What if they double overnight? But at the same time, what if they make a huge acquisition problem and then they shrink overnight? That directly affects you and your assets.
Correct.
So you have to manage those processes different than just saying, screw these freaking trucks. I'm tired of working on them, or screw these trucks. It's not, producing enough ROI.
Hey guys, the sponsor of today's show, you got it, Prosperity Transportation. You might have seen the new hats we're wearing. Check them out. You can actually order these hats at thatprosperitylife.com. We have this green cross hat. We got the all blacked out black cross hat. Right now, we got a special deal running. If you order the black and the green hat, you will get the third hat, the black and white Prosperity Transportation hat, for free. Thank you guys for supporting us and what we do. Now let's get back to the show. That's a good perspective. That's one perspective, and there's many. And
that's why there are always opinions, right? Because my opinion's going to be different than your opinion.
Yeah.
The way I manage is going to be different the way you manage, and that's why I'm a capitalist, right? Like, you go make decisions and you can thrive from it. Man, I applaud you. And if I go make decisions and I fail flat on my face, it was my decision what assets I put money in. Like, this is something funny. There's an unlimited amount of ways for people to produce money or resources in this industry. You can go work for the man. You can be the man. You can freelance and do stuff, right? You can make money or get by any way you physically want to. Some people love photography. Some people love trucking. Some people love cooking. Like, whatever you enjoy, that's how you can produce, right? So we were talking about John 15 today about, like, I think God put me in trucking for a reason, because I didn't try to get in trucking. I balked it. Mm-hmm. But I'm passionate about it. This is what I enjoy. Mm-hmm. So we talk about taking these different roads and different paths and different asset-based, non-asset, broker, whatever. Like, for me, like right now, I geek out on brokering, right? Just because of the industry. But then at the same time, I look at you and be like, man, be careful, because in a few months, I want to come sit at your table, because I'm going to have to remanage how we use our assets on this side of the table. Mm-hmm. Because the industry is going to flip. Whenever the industry flips and I can't find capacity, where do you manage capacity? Well, if you have it in hand and it's tangible,
yeah,
that's where the term asset comes in.
Correct. And as assets, you got to go.
This is
where people understand that, because if you fail to go into a place that people that they don't understand exactly what you just said, then the next season turns again and you spent all your time there in vain. And then to them, you're just trucks once again, instead of a relationship. And this is a crucial time where carriers and brokers both, they can make good relationships with customers. People are looking and here in the next couple months are going to be looking for more relationship in business, because we're going through a time that if you don't have relationship there, everybody is leaning on their own understanding and trying to cut each other's throat, and I think that it's up to us to focus on that, and to make sure that we have good discernment to see, hey, do we need to be with this customer?
Did you think,
or do we not?
Like during COVID, when there wasn't enough capacity, everybody's coming in and the customer is like, I need help. And then the carrier and the providers and the brokers and the asset company is like, you got to do what I say. The relationship didn't matter then, right? People were desperate, mm-hmm. right? Then it flips and relationships. We're in the people business. I will say this until I'm blue in the face. Like, you can have a enterprise account. I won't even say names. You can have an enterprise account that is the largest, say, food and beverage distributor in the country, and relationship still matters. Mm-hmm. Like,
yeah,
people want to do business with people. Believe it or not, trucking is still somewhat blue collar. Even people sitting behind the desk, right? Because at the end of the day, who does everybody rely on to move that freight? Mm-hmm. The guy sitting behind the steering wheel. And if that guy's not happy, he can disrupt the whole country. Like, if I'm not asking for this, but if anybody ever goes on strike, what happens? You can have somebody go on strike in a certain part of the country, and it disrupts the whole supply chain. Mm-hmm. it's so intertwined and it's so niche, it's so close market that, yeah, why does relationships not matter?
Look what happened when that trade war started, when China and Russia Trump and all them started doing what they're doing with the pandemic. You couldn't get ships here.
Yeah, and what happened? Shelves got empty. We didn't have inventory here. We relied on other countries to provide the inventory.
Do you think those times are coming back again?
I don't want to speak life into anything, Bubba. Remember those chickens and those hogs and stuff we have? We also need to learn how to make toilet paper. And we also learn how to make...
We kind of...
Shout out to Ashdown, Arkansas for having a...
Well, you remember that last episode where I was talking about how Walmart got too big? You know, I truly believe that these big corporations that are controlling the world, controlling media, controlling, you know, they have the voice, right? We gave them the voice by coming under here. We can get you this for this price and get you a brand new shopping mall and all this stuff where you can get these things for cheaper. And this happened through generations. It didn't actually take place with us specifically, but here we are. I truly believe that, like, all that stuff, I think it's going to kind of break down and it's going to become a little bit more mom and pop style stuff again. So I think it's for the benefit and for the good, you know. It's going to bring back a lot of small carriers too.
I agree on the transportation side. It's hard for me to believe though that people are going to go away from like the e-commerce business.
I don't think they're going to do it naturally. Like, I don't think, well, not naturally. I don't think they're going to do it on their own will. I think there's going to be no option here very soon.
It's interesting to me.
They're going to use it as power.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to use it to control. We're not letting them control. That's it. So if they take it, then have it. Because we'll start sowing seeds in Springtown, you know, if we have to, you know, but we're not giving up our freedom. That's for sure.
Why wouldn't we do a concrete jungle like Flower Mound, you know, where there's a lot of land available? And
yeah, I can almost guarantee you all those people that are in the cities are going to be rushing out to the country.
So
Arkansas might be full of people for once.
That's funny. I think there's more people in DFW than the whole state of Arkansas. I mean, actually, I know there is. I don't know why I said I think. I know there is, but I don't remember what that number is. I think it's
Arkansas
like
has 2 million people, right?
I think it's about right. My number was 3 million in my head. 3.5.
And I'm pretty sure DFW alone has like 8.
Yeah. Probably just Dallas County. Hey, I just want to take a quick pause and say thank you to Unity Brokering for sponsoring our show today. Here at Unity, we take pride in taking care of the customer and the carriers so that everybody wins. If you have any questions, please reach out at CustomerService@unitybrokering.com or 817-733-1211. Now let's get back to the show. To go back though, like I'm anxious to see what happens to the transportation over the next, like, because if you look back 5 years, like, it's crazy, right? What's changed in 5 years. But if you try to look forward 5 years with the stuff that you showed me the other day about owner ops and lease operators and, you know, Amazon not being able to be independent contractors, like, that is a huge deal. Like, you know, most of those.
If that happens, Chris.
But that's the thing. Like,
it's already happening.
You look at e-commerce business, and I really believe that that's going to be here to stay for a long time. I do believe
e-commerce is like Amazon.
Yeah, ordering something online, if it's a truck part, right? Because let's just use you as an example. Like, yeah, you have a parts store, but if you go there and they don't have the part you need, what happens? We got to order it in.
Okay, but you order it from other stores that are in different places, like in America. Amazon is not like that. Like, for instance, I need a part. I call Ford Stage Trucking. They're a manufacturer of parts up north.
Can you get online and order it?
And I can get online and order it from the direct
business. It's the same thing.
Yeah, but Amazon is a little different.
Well, that's just because they're the big one. Don't use them then. Use a different example.
Way bigger.
That's what I'm saying.
And I'm not talking about e-commerce. I'm talking about these huge places that have used slaves to labor
So I'm talking
Who's
more
showing
or
up to your
less-
house right now for Amazon?
Let me
Immigrants?
let me completely change the words then. This is what I'm talking about. In the past, I don't even know the number. You would have warehouses that would send full truckloads, say let's say from the containers from California to a full warehouse to stock on stuff to get it to the shelves at different places. Okay, so you had warehouses all across the country sitting on inventory to ensure that it sits on a shelf for somebody to come in and buy it.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time, I don't know the number, there was a time where they started running lean on inventory because the way the e-commerce business is in selling direct to the consumer. So it never left the container port, went to a warehouse to go to a shelf sitting at a truck parts store. Mm-hmm. Now it sits in a warehouse somewhere and it gets shipped from the warehouse to the front door of somebody's home, regardless what that is. We even do it today with DoorDash and food from McDonald's. Yeah. So what happens though, that means you had to create more capacity at a smaller scale for every type of business. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So when I talk about I'm talking about the B2C customer. So business to consumer.
Yeah, I don't think that'll ever go away.
Like it's
unless the internet went away.
Right. Well, fact. But
and the internet's not going anywhere.
Not on its own.
Yeah. Unless you get some solar flare off the sun.
So what I'm saying though is what's that look like in trucking? Right? So right now we're in a bubble where, again, making up numbers, my mom and dad, my grandparents, they don't like that world. They don't like the business to B2C. They don't like going on and shop. They want to go into a store, physically touch something tangible and be like, yes, this is what I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. My mom wants to go into a store, try on a shirt and see how it feels and say, yes, this is the shirt that I want to buy. Mm-hmm. Where my brother, on the other hand, never walks into a store.
He already knows what he wants.
Knows what he wants, orders it online, it comes to my door, and I do, because time is money, especially in today's world, right? Everything is fast-paced. Everything's at our fingertip. He just saved, say, 2 hours of buying a T-shirt. Mm-hmm. But now flip that to the transportation industry. In the past, left the container yard on a full dry van to a warehouse, to a full dry van to a Walmart, just making something up, came off a full dry van full of thousands of other T-shirts to the shelf. Then my mom's car showed up, the logistics my mom put in place to get the shelf off the store and take it home.
The shirt off the shelf. Yep.
So we're still doing the exact same movement, but now you're cutting out the brick and mortar, the Walmart. You're going from the warehouse to the front door, still in a smaller vehicle.
So you think there's going to be more of that happening?
It is more of that happening. That's why whenever we go back to one of our episodes with James Cade talking about the EV business, I think that's where people are focused on, and the reason why it could work. Because we have to have more.
So do you think like these places, like for instance in the country, we have Brookshire's grocery store. You think these places, are going to start shipping the stuff themselves?
Well, they're kind of already doing it a little bit.
With picking up on the curb, right? Where you kind of
it's just
order.
That's what they can do today. But what are they going to do tomorrow? Are they going to, back in the day had milk runs, right? The milkman run around and why are they not going to do that with groceries? Everybody on a street needs groceries. I don't even want to talk about the drone game. Walmart's trying hard right now with drones, delivering with drones.
No.
Yeah, you haven't seen this?
No.
Bro.
Stop.
Yeah, where my brother lives in Cave Springs, it's Walmart's headquarters, but I physically saw it happen. They have these little basket things that close, and they have this big thing. So it gets up above your house, it drops it, and then it flies off.
Wow.
There's limitations to it, right?
Yeah, because that thing is dangerous. What if comes down and
But let's do something crazy for a minute, especially in Springtown.
$300 groceries.
You're sitting in
cost you $1 million
Springtown.
less.
How long does it take you to go get a stick of butter? That's probably, let's say, salt and pepper.
15 minutes.
15, 20 minutes round trip, right? Mm-hmm. You're already cooking, and you need something. Mm-hmm. The way the drone game works is you're cooking, you hit a button, and it'll have it to you in minutes. How quick can a drone go from that store to your house? Minutes.
Before I can get there.
I'm still cooking. Matter of fact, I ordered it and had myself shaking before I even thought about getting
You know
in my
who
car.
the first people that should do this? Dollar General.
Oh, my gosh.
Just
You're right.
just the other day, I was like, man, I really want some peanuts. What's the purpose of a wife then?
Oh. I love you, babe.
Because I turned to my wife and said, hey, can you go grab me some peanuts at Dollar General? Sure, babe. She went out there. Might as well marry a drone. Damn.
Do we really need to go in the purpose of a wife? Because I have a lot. I don't know about your wife.
That's
My
just to
wife
fire everybody.
provides a lot of...
Hey, but not anything a drone can't do.
I mean, even just that back scratch my wife provides is
Get a drone.
fantastic.
Let's take some time and talk to you about our sponsor, Prosperity Transportation. From flatbed, step deck, end dump, lowboy, we take pride in being able to service all of your construction needs. There is nothing that we can't haul. Call us 817-879-7227 and see what we can do for you. Now let's get back to the show.
But to get back on topic, like what I'm saying is we're in a state right now where the market is flipped. Businesses are going under, transportation companies, providers, brokers, even
Absolutely.
asset-based, independent owner-operators. The thing that I don't know the answer to, and I wish I did, the independent authorities that are 1, 2, 3 trucks that's going out of business, where are they going to work? The way the market has been, they ain't coming back to the transportation industry. Mm-hmm. They're going somewhere else.
Yeah, because they feel like the transportation industry has rubbed them wrong.
And it was soft. There wasn't enough capacity. How am I going to go back into working for the man that still can't get freight?
Yeah.
Now, right now, we're in a weird state that I would argue in Texas, the market is flipped. And you can stay busy right now. But those people that left a month ago are not sitting in the transportation industry.
No.
So what does that mean? If the market's coming back,
And it's harder to get your CDL now than it was before. So
well, even if you get it, you can't freaking work. The industry wants you to fail.
correct, because you have to have
Can you
2
get
years.
insurance?
Nope.
Why? You gotta have what?
You have to have 2 years to be placed on a policy. That's 80% of insurance policies.
Okay, and if you're an independent owner operator, most companies aren't going to work for you for a minimum of 90 days. Most of the time, a year if it's a bigger company.
Yep, you're going to be working for TQL. That's going to pay you $200 a load, just enough so that when you break down, that you don't survive.
Yeah, it does. So okay, so
We
back
we got a pretty little thing happening for prosperity and unity here, because we're not going nowhere.
But
that's the encouraging part that we need to tell people too here, Chris, is that yes, all this doom and gloom stuff, but the transportation industry is not going anywhere. It's never going to go anywhere.
That's right.
It's only changing faces. This guy's face will be in the transportation, and so will mine. And the reason is because of our faith, and I believe that our faith is going to separate us from the rest of the pack here in the next coming day. So faith comes from hearing, that is, hearing the good news about Christ. Romans 10:17. And I think that
gotta have faith.
we have the good news, that no matter if everything goes down, we continue to go up. You believe that, Chris?
I do, and I was fixing to double down on it because I will argue that God has me in trucking for a reason. We talked about that before the show started. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why I'm passionate about it. I don't know why I care. I think it has to do with because everything we do in life comes somehow through transportation. Chairs we sit in, the TVs we watch, the deodorant we put on. Like, there's nothing I mean, you can even argue the chickens you went and bought. You didn't hatch those. I mean, I know you did later, but you had to go use some type of transportation to go get those and bring them to you.
Correct.
Nothing just comes to you freely.
Everything has to be shipped.
Everything. So when I sit here and think about what you just said and about us not going anywhere and whatever, like, that's why we pride ourselves in having hard conversations to ensure that we're doing what's best for the industry, the people, God's children, and not get stuck in the worldly realm of what transportation is supposed to look like from the outside. I don't know if that makes sense. I kind of just went in a circle with what I was saying, but in short, we're doing everything in our power from both an asset perspective, from a brokering perspective, to set ourselves up, even if it's a long, hard road, to ensure that we're in position to do what God called us to do. And in our case,
bring the good news.
Be a men of men on both sides of the table, asset and asset light, to provide good service for our customers, our carriers, our families, the people that work for us. Like, and sometimes that's hard because you still have to have the resources to do that. And it's a long road. But do you believe in adapt or die?
Yeah.
And when does that not ever come more true than in transportation? I feel like every single year you have a different problem you have to figure out how to overcome. You just got done saying, okay, I revamped how I do business because of this. You take a deep breath and then you look and it's like, oh, we got to change again.
Absolutely.
So prior to transportation, I was a big, like, we need to talk through this. We need to make sure that it's 100% correct before we implement it. Like, we got to look at the what ifs before you make a change. But then I get into transportation, right? Then if you do that, by the time you implement that change, it's already changed. Mm-hmm. Something's already happened that now that business model or that plan has not changed. Yeah. Now I believe in the 80-20 rule. Like, if you're 75, 80% sure that it's going to work, implement it. Mm-hmm. Because I agree. You know, and some people would argue it needs to be like 50%, but I'm still the overthinker. I still want to make sure that it works. But, like, you cannot wait for it to get to 100% in the transportation industry. And that's where I think we do a good job is I wait too long. Maybe you wait not long enough. Yeah. And then in the middle, we land somewhere that's like, whoop, shouldn't have done that, but at least we didn't drown. Oh, that was a great decision that we did that.
There's this gift, but at the same time, living with this gift is very difficult when you see things and know things are going to happen before they happen. And that gift has actually been given, to certain people, and you have to keep your mouth shut as well. I've learned about that as well. You just got to be quiet. Sometimes you want to go tell everybody, but God didn't tell you to tell everybody.
He didn't anoint everybody.
Right, exactly. If he wanted to tell everyone, he would have told them to. He told certain people about that because he wanted them to prepare in certain ways. And as those things started to take place, to testify and to give the good news of right now, everybody's tripping because of the solar eclipse, April 8th. And they're saying judgment is coming. Judgment is coming. And Chris,
and I'm sitting over here in peace. Like,
judgment is coming. And I am excited because I'm ready for judgment season. Please.
But was judgment not coming 5 years ago?
Absolutely. But I'm talking.
I know. It's just everybody feels like it's getting closer.
It is.
So everybody's in panic mode.
The actual heavens coming down is coming.
Yeah.
And God is going to reward the ones that have been working for his good, for his son, and the ones that have ridded themselves of the things that he's called them to take and to rid out of their life, So I'm ready for judgment season. Bring it on, please. Give everyone what they've deserved and another thing though, you still got time. Turn from your evil ways. Repent. I'm telling you, clean yourself up.
How easy is it, Bubba?
To do that? It's easy.
I know.
So easy.
And you know what's crazy to me as a Christian?
Brings peace.
Like, it's funny in the transportation industry as a Christian, right? Like, this year's challenged me more than ever. I don't want to say it was hard. It wasn't hard. It just didn't happen. Shame on me. I've asked for forgiveness. But in the transportation industry, when you're a broker, it's hard to be like witness and be a disciple because the relationship is weird. Never met you. It's a 5-minute conversation. Do you have a truck? Can you haul this load? You know what I mean? So like, I've challenged myself this year to be different, have different conversations. Even in simple as, putting God bless you on the signature of an email. Like doing what you can to get in that one little word of just saying like,
standing out.
Yeah, being different, right? The term men of men, like just being different. Like I've challenged myself this year to do that. And like, I would argue between, let's just say, I'll make up numbers, November of last year to today, we haven't really changed our business model. But why are we growing? Why are we prospering? Why is life in the brokering industry, it's never easy. So I definitely don't want to say that. But why is it easy right now? And for me, because I have a different vision of way I do business. I don't stress out as much as I used to. Like, I use the Holy Spirit. I used to call it a gut feeling, right? In transportation, man, that driver just doesn't sound like he's going to be good. That ain't gut feeling. That's the Holy Spirit telling me like, hey, buddy.
You ain't going to cut it.
In your eyes, that's not God's child. Like, use the other guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I go with that. Like, I'm training a guy right now, and I tell him, I'm like, listen, man, like, there's not a good rhyme or reason to say
I think it's the goodness of God.
Yeah.
I think, you hear that?
Is that your belly?
I hope that the camera picked that up. No, that's the Holy Spirit. Remember gut feeling?
Oh.
No, but yeah, I think that
I thought it's that carnivore diet you're on.
it is a carnivore diet I'm on. I think it's...
Don't get that confused between the Holy Spirit, Bubba.
The goodness of God, because, Chris, how is it? Last episode, I was talking about the middle class, and fighting for the middle class. I've decided, because of good friends and of course the word, I'm not fighting for the middle class no more. I am fighting for a wealth transfer. The wealth, the money that's laid in the hands of the wicked right now is being transferred over to the righteous, and the righteous are going to be on top. Everybody else is going to be on bottom. So either get in place and be a part of the righteous, or sit under the feet of the righteous. And you're lucky, all I got to say, that you get to be under the feet of the righteous, because it's not a bad spot, though.
So you're saying,
because we take care of people other than like the wicked. They're just trying to prosper themselves, and they really don't care about helping no one else. But am I trying to say what?
like the term middle class is a worldly view.
Yeah, I'm trying to say that the more and more I look at the kingdom and a kingdom mindset, I don't see where there's a middle class. Matter of fact, I only see where there's a bottom and an up.
So this is where I'm conflicted. Like, again, we talk about that 80% making changes. Like, man, like the vision of this podcast has changed a little bit for me, because you can go back to the first episode and I would tell you that we are a carrier first company. We are a driver first company, because we can't do what we do without a great driver on the asset side, or a great driver on the brokering side.
But the sad part about it is, Chris, is that we haven't had a carrier nor a driver on as a guest.
But that's where I'm going. Is like, why?
Because you're friends with
So you talk about the
not
middle
drivers and carriers.
I guess the world I live in, though.
No, it really is.
But that goes back to, don't silo the middle class. Don't silo the blue collar. Like, what? Okay, let me take a step back, because my ADD right now is pumping, because I got like 18 different visions right now that I want to go. Let me ask you this: what is, in Robert Lopez Jr.'s mind, is the definition of a blue collar?
You should see my fingernails right now. If the camera could zoom in on these bad boys, and that's because they've been washed every single day.
Yeah.
That's blue collar right there.
Okay, but give me more. Give me more than that because let me ask you this. Is a blue collar guy sitting in a crane moving stuff from whatever he's doing? Because his fingers arguably aren't going to be dirty. So what's blue? Give me deep definition of what blue collar is.
Sweat.
Like the doer, the getting it done, the grunt.
The person that has to work, you know.
Would you argue it's working
12,
for the
14.
man? Or can a blue collar guy be in like? I think I know the answer. I mean, I don't think.
Tell
you
me because that's a good.
I don't think so. Because think about a plumber. See, blue collar, he owns his own truck. He's not necessarily working for the man, but what is
But
working?
he's blue collar.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So I don't think so. But can a blue collar work for the man? Absolutely, right?
I think blue collar are the things that if the internet went out, that wouldn't stop.
Right. Okay. So truck drivers,
Absolutely.
blue collar, right?
What I think that is if you put blue collar in the dictionary, truck driver should be a synonym.
It's funny. So okay. So we just got on the same page for just a minute.
Anonym would be broker. You know.
Right. Clean desk hands, no calluses. You know.
Internet's gone. They can't do their job.
I look at a piece of paper and it gives me a paper cut.
Yeah.
You know what sucks about that though? Like this is what sucks too. And I'm again, this is the ADD because this is not where I wanted to go. You ask me, I'm blue collar to the core. If you give me, I can build a house from the ground up. I know about electricity. I know about plumbing. Me and my dad's rebuilt a motor before.
Engine.
In a truck. Engine. But this is coming from criticism on a different line. But you see what I'm saying? Like I'm blue collar. Mm-hmm. But I do sit behind a desk. And
Chris, people that are blue collar, they don't have to tell people they're blue collar.
I know, but that's my point. Okay, I'm so glad you said that.
I'm messing with you.
No. Let's stay with that for a minute.
Okay.
You put me in a situation with people that don't know me, and I tell them what they do. Am I blue collar? No, I'm not. But that's the worldly views of what it is.
Yeah.
If the world changed right now, and I can be a farmer, I've done it. My dad lives on a farm. I grew up like.
Yeah.
The thing is, but God put me in a place where I'm not necessarily the blue collar today. Now you go back, to early between college and now, I had blue collar jobs, working third shift. And my point is, like, I get conflicted when you use the term blue collar and taking care of the drive. I don't like the silo. So my ADD's coming back to what I was saying. I don't like the silo all this different stuff like me and you've talked about before, like always take care of the carrier, always take care of the driver, whatever. I agree with that. We're a carrier first brokering firm, but I don't want a silo like that, because who is it for me to say that that particular person is not a child of God? Like, that's why I've used the Holy Spirit more, even deciding where that goes, how they.
Are you saying like blue collar people are children of God?
They can be.
They can be, but they cannot also as well.
Yeah. But I'm not saying either one. I'm not saying for
Chris,
or
my
against.
thumb right now is broken. I broke my thumb 2 days ago. There's something called a wrench. Have you ever heard of one?
Oh my God.
I've
prayed this twice today. Lord, please give me patience and not punch him in the face.
From the truck and smashed this sucker pretty good. And
So on that day, you wish you were behind a keyboard?
I wish I was in bed with the enemy. I was about to sell my soul.
He's kidding, Lord. But what I'm saying, though, is like, I don't want a silo of who we're taking care of, what we're doing, where we're going. Like, my vision is simple, right? I'm walking towards God, and he's got me on a path he wants to go. So I'm not going to sit here and say, only take care of the middle class.
Yeah.
Only take care of the blue collar. Only take care of the asset-based company. Only take care of the broker. Like, that's not what I want to do. I want to make it 10 times simpler than that, because it ain't my place to put anybody in the silo.
No, I agree with you.
Now, the world makes me want to say, big time corporations, go get bent. Bring it back to the middle class. Quit robbing Peter to pay Paul. Quit making it hard for people to be successful.
Yeah, because then the FCMA comes in and just writes them a check and bails them out.
Yeah, are they going to bail you out?
No. Matter of fact, they charge me in taxes like crazy.
And they tell you can't go get insurance for 2 years. And they tell you can't run for anybody for authority for a year.
And then not to mention, dude, once again, taxes. Taxes.
Then they come out and say you can't be
get off the taxes thing.
That's robbery. Highway robbery, pun intended.
Dude,
but here's the thing,
I'm
though,
ready to
Bubba,
stop paying taxes.
And I haven't dug into this yet, so shame on me because you've challenged me to do this. But this new thing that you told me about, what's it even called? Where you can't be an owner-op, you have to be a W-2 employee. Like, is there a term for that yet?
Yes. Here, I have the video right now. Let me pull it up so that you can.
But back to my point, Bubba, is who are they to tell me I can't?
It's called the TLTF.
So, So what I'm asking you though is who are they to do that?
I want to mention it real quick so that correct. Truck Leasing Task Force is what is looking into this to where they're not going to allow owner operators that are leased to companies to be able to lease to companies. They're going to make them go get their own authority. And the reason why is because
taxes.
Somebody to be owner or self-employed and work for themselves has to be able to bid on their own freight, is what they're saying.
Yeah, but at the end, I think it's deeper than that. I think it's so they can get more money. Taxes.
I agree. I don't think there should be any more restrictions or regulations.
So what's going to happen? So we're not taking care of the blue collar. We're not taking care of the middle class, the world. Let me rephrase that. Making it harder, right? So right now, okay, this is 100%. I do not know the answer. Actually, I do. Most of the authorities on the road are less than 5 trucks, right? Can we agree with that? Like we've talked about that multiple times. So that means in our industry, the big time corporation has not won. True or false? I don't know. True or false? I don't think it has. My personal belief.
I agree.
There's big time companies out there that's doing fantastic, right? But if you go out and you drive down the interstate, you're going to see more mom and pops, owner operators, small to truck, medium sized trucking companies over the big ones. I think on the road. So now
I think it's balanced.
Okay, so why would the government? They've done it to all the other industries. They've done it to farmers. They did it to e-commerce. I mean, the commerce business. What's next? Everybody came in during COVID and made a crap ton of money and didn't pay taxes on it.
Exactly.
And so what did the man say? We're gonna have to fix that.
Yep.
I need my cake and eat it too. I need
And
you to pay me.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't believe there should be any more regulation or anything, but that's going to help me.
Yeah.
If you put all the lease trucks where they have to go get their own authority, now it's going to be almost impossible for them to get their own authority and to run. Then they're going to have to work for brokers. Then these companies that are built on just leasing, they're going to lose all their contracts. It's more work out there. And then if you have companies that help, that have their own trucks and they lease, they're going to now be looking to buy more trucks, to hire more drivers to do it. So I think it would do nothing but help, the small carriers like us. We have
But let's talk through that.
14 trucks.
I don't think it would. Let's talk through that.
No?
Why are they going to come work for you? What freight do you have for them?
Well, for instance, my competitor right now is a company of just lease trucks. If he no longer can lease trucks to his company, who are they going to go to?
That's one customer and one example.
So that would help me immediately.
But look at the industry. who would then start having the most capacity, the most carrier, or the most customers, because it has to now start being in a smaller funnel. So these big time organizations that are already hand and fist above you in terms of fleet size, money, resources, they can come in and take every customer you have away from you.
No, they don't run with just assets. They're balanced companies. If they have
But hold on.
500 trucks, they're running 500 lease trucks too, Chris.
I know. I think we're on different pages. Let me try to word it different. You have 14 trucks.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to put you up against somebody that has 1,500 trucks.
Mm-hmm.
Same capacity, same type of equipment.
Mm-hmm.
All these owner-ops that used to work for brokering firms because they didn't have the means to have back office and sales like we've talked about before. Again, this is my vision, right? Because I have a different vision of what a broker is compared to most people. It's not about the money. It's about I'm your sales team and I'm your back office.
Mm-hmm.
You hire me, quote unquote, to do that because you don't have the means to do it because you have one truck.
Mm-hmm.
He comes off the road, right? What's enticing him to come work for you and not the guy that has 1,500 trucks?
He would not allowed to work for us or them, is what I'm saying.
I know. So what? Yeah, he can go work for it, but who has to own the equipment?
The company.
Right.
Should be a driver.
Right.
So
he comes out of his truck.
Yeah.
And he's going to pick a company to work for.
Mm-hmm.
I also now have to sell my truck, mind you, because it means nothing to me.
Mm-hmm.
But let's take that off the table. It's just, what company am I going to work for?
I personally think that it'd be 50-50. People would come.
Who has better benefits?
Well, he was a lease truck. He didn't have benefits to start with.
I know, but he is now if he goes work for a company with 1,500 trucks.
Yeah, but he's also going to be making less money.
Will he?
Absolutely. Well, from a lease truck, yeah.
On paper, he's going to make less money no matter what because he's now a W-2 employee.
He'd probably go where he was running the freight. So if he was with the big company already, leased with them, he'd probably go with them.
Okay, let's go with it. That's fine. When you start losing all this authority and they're going to work for the man, let's just call it that, even you, right? If you're going to go work for the man, you have a sales force out there keeping the business, working with these accounts. What happens to those guys? Let's just use Unity. What happens to Unity when I lose all of the owner ops that work for me?
Your owner operators have their own authority. You wouldn't lose any of them. This is just lease trucks.
No. A lot of these people are working for dispatchings that has the authority.
No kidding.
Yeah, so like they're working for...
Well, you would have to start to find... Man, that's going to make the big bigger and the small smaller.
Now you're getting where I'm coming from.
Good thing I broke the barrier, so I'm getting bigger.
You see what I'm saying, though? They're doing the exact same thing in our industry that they've done everywhere else.
Yeah.
The big get bigger and the small get gone.
Yep.
That being case, when you think about a broker,
That's true.
the brokers are going to get smaller.
And honestly, that's why I've kind of been holding on with everything that we have as well. And I've taken losses for 6 to 8 months now, but I kind of prepared for those, understanding they would come.
Yeah.
And it was with the intent of that it's going to turn. And when it turns,
but I think this is not even podcast related. This is me and you related. Like, I think we should sit down and rethink of what that looks like. I think there has to be different divisions inside of Prosperity, so you don't have to take a loss.
one thing I want to do right now is develop a lease truck division.
So let's think about this. Like,
I'd hate for us to develop it and then they get rid of it.
Are you familiar with like restoration companies? Like they go, like, so for example, you have a fire in your home. They hire a restoration company to come in and get it prepared for the insurance company to come in and repair it, right?
Mm-hmm.
If a flood happens, they have somebody come in. Okay, so restoration companies, the people that insurance is used to go in and help prepare to get fixed. So that's water, fire. Awesome. But those companies have to diversify too. The people that's out there cleaning fire is the same one that's doing the water and mold remediation. It's the same one that's doing that. You have to have a group of people that can flip-flop back. So if you have local work only and it's struggling and you're losing for 8 to 6 months, you probably need a different division to be able to flip back and forth. I can't do 15 trucks this week. I can only do 7. But I still got to keep those other trucks busy. We got to go over the road.
Yeah.
Or, some of them are, I'm completely making crap up here, but one of them is a mechanic. So today's working in the shop. One of them can actually be a pretty dang good salesman. So he's out there hustling, trying to find new customers. Like, I think we're in a position right now that the industry's changing quicker than we can see it. And so how do we prepare ourselves to be ready for when that day comes? Is there a date on that yet?
It's already taking place in California. It happened last week.
California
now,
and Texas are best friends.
Now, I believe it's something happening next month again where it's going to Congress.
Yeah. So it could still be over. So it's not past.
No. And one of the main things that they got them to start pushing this is Amazon and hiring a whole bunch of illegals to bring you your packages to your house. And once they pay them an I-9 form, where's the taxes?
The only thing I see good.
There's no taxes.
Yeah. The only thing I see good out of it. Yeah, and that's a multi-billion-dollar industry too.
Yeah, they want their money, and they're getting away without having to pay nothing on it.
Yeah. So, the only thing I see good out of it, the only thing I don't like about some of these, the way things are set up is the liability, right? So, for example, FedEx even does it. They have independent companies that run their own lanes for FedEx, right? So that means if something happens, heaven forbid, and we know of a situation here locally that a FedEx driver did something very horrible, FedEx has no reliability in that. It's an independent company doing their own independent thing. So you're only going to go after what their insurance policy is, not FedEx.
And you got to think too. The industry always comes up with a way of going around it.
Loopholes.
There's always a loophole.
Yeah.
So I know we're still getting clarity exactly on what that means, and God is teaching us every single day what that means. But what's a way that you've seen truth reveal itself in what you're doing that has caused you to see God's goodness?
The driver matters.
So what happened this week? What's a testimony that happened that leads you to this understanding?
A driver broke down going to Florida. Was going to be late. I called to see what was going on, and she's bawling. She thought I was going to be mad at her because she failed and is going to be late, and that we were going to fine them because they were going to be late because they had an axle break or a leaf spring break. Bawling her eyes out, apologizing. This is not who we are. We keep up with our trucks, blah, 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 blah. And I never said a word. I never got mad. I never said a word. But the industry has her rubbed the wrong way because most people are going to fine them because they're late. Take money out of their pocket when they actually break down because most people lie and say I'm broke down, but in reality you slept in.
Yeah.
So what did I do? Let me. What do you think I did?
I hope you find them.
No, I didn't find them.
What?
No,
Bro. Taking out of our kid's mouth, bro. Come on.
we had a decent margin on that load.
What'd you do?
Just guess.
You paid them more.
Paid them more.
Did you?
Yes. I said. She's like, my husband is working right now on it. He's been on it for about 3.5 hours. He said he has about 2 hours left on it. We think we can get it there it was like 2 p.m. the next day. Supposed to have been there at 8.
So what was the purpose of paying them more? Like to encourage them?
Yeah, because they worked his ass off without me even asking to still get it there the same day, even though it was late.
So he did his job.
He did exactly what he was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
But no, let me rephrase that. That's not necessarily he did his job.
No?
Most people are going to take that into a shop and it's going to sit there, and then people don't do their job, and it's going to be 3 or 4 days late. This guy took initiative and fixed it himself.
Okay, you rewarded him for being
He
that carrier that I see what you're saying.
And it cost them money. That load cost them money. Why am I going to take money out of your pocket?
Mm-hmm.
Give him a small bonus.
No, that's
he worked
good.
his tail off.
I
He
think
delivered the same day, and I
Sure.
want them to come back and work for me again.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to do that on the next time something
Have they
happens,
came back and worked for you?
no, not
Have
yet.
they called or anything? No.
No, well, they're working over the road. We're niche. We're niche. But the thing is, though, guess who got taken care of?
Mm-hmm.
Even though we're late, we still delivered same day.
Mm-hmm.
He busted his tail to make sure the customer's taken care of for me. And guess what? The customer never even knew.
Because you've been put in positions to where somebody's truck breaks down, they have your load for 2, 3, 4 days. They're
And they
saying
hold it
"Hey,
hostage."
It's going to be a week. Yeah, gone and
And in some cases, it's inside of the shop and you can't even offload it.
yeah.
I have no control because I'm that non-blue collar guy sitting behind the desk.
Yeah.
Like, why would I not reward those type of people? Those are the ones I want to stay in the industry. Those are the ones I don't want to fail.
Correct.
Those are the ones that can technically change who we are in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Not the guy that's out there just robbing Peter to pay Paul. Not the broker out there that's just trying to make a buck today, close his business and open a new authority tomorrow. Not the double broker
The
out there.
people that are resilient.
They were not going to fail. And you know what sucks? The wife, I talked with them more. The wife's just out there hanging out with her husband. He's the driver. She just goes with him.
Wow.
Think about the tension, the turmoil, whatever word you want to put between husband and wife that day. Because husband, we can both put ourselves in his shoes.
Imagine
he
if
was
he
not
had
in
your
a good
wife.
mood. She's fantastic.
Imagine that, folks. All you
could
people
only
that know us,
imagine.
Tell you what.
I think this is how we're going to end right here. I have been challenged to be a new age broker. Check that. We have been challenged to be a new age broker. And what does that look like? From right now, from your seat that don't spend a ton of time in it, what does that look like for you?
I think it looks
What's
like
a perfect broker from an
exactly what you just did is to recognize that and reward that spirit that they had, which was resilience, and to testify to them and let them know how much you appreciate them, and not only tell them, but show them with a blessing of money to help them, or resource, Let me tell you a little bit of what happened with me this week. So I've had a couple engines that we've been overhauling and rebuilding. Anybody that follows that prosperity life on TikTok or YouTube, you have been watching. And I kept thinking to myself, man, we're not making a ton of money. Maybe I should just leave this truck alone. Maybe I shouldn't rebuild it. Maybe I should just wait to see how things are going to pan out. I got my broker's license. I could broker a truck over there if I need to, and still make a decent margin off of it. And I kept hearing and sensing, and then just that gut feeling that it's not the time to give up. It's the time right now to press on. And that's my message to all you you carriers and you owner operators and you brokers and anybody that's in the industry, that if you're resilient, you're going to make it. And if you continue to press and press and press, you are going to be one of the ones that's on top. And I know times are looking like that's not the case, but the times are going to turn, and they're going to turn for the benefit of those who continue to be resilient. And the reason why you're resilient is it definitely matters. And I think that we have this in our DNA here as Americans, and especially if you're a Texan, you have this in your DNA. But we believe that we're special, not because of anything we've done, but because somewhere we were born. And God chose for us to be from this side of of the woods, and we call that America. And I believe that resilience is going to shine of how American that we are, and no matter what kind of attack or where it comes from, it can't penetrate us. We are a bulletproof type of people, and keep going, keep trucking, and remember, you heard it here on That Trucking Gospel.
Thank you guys for tuning into That Trucking Gospel. New episodes release every Tuesday. Like, subscribe, comment. We'll see you next time.
Hey, welcome back to That Trucking Gospel. Today's episode's a little bit different. Me and Bubba sitting here just having a conversation about prosperity and unity, where the market is, kind of what we have moving forward. So let's jump right into it.